The Constitution of India, Preamble. We, the people of India, having solemnly resolved to constitute India into a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic and to secure to all its citizens justice, social, economic and political, liberty of thought, expression, belief, faith and worship, equality of status and of opportunity, and to promote among them all fraternity, assuring the dignity of the individual and the unity and integrity of the nation. In our Constituent Assembly, this 26th day of November 1949, do hereby adopt, enact and give to ourselves this Constitution.
Hi children, welcome back to Zoology class. Today I would like to start the class with a saying, as long as there is a life, there is a potential. As long as there is a potential, there will be a success. So try to unlock your potential for your future. Now we are going to discuss about important questions of the previous chapter, human reproduction. Shall we move on to questions? Okay. Now let's start with the first question. Some stages of the embryonic development are given below. Observe this diagram and answer the questions. ഇവിടെ എംബ്രിയോണിക് ഡെവലപ്മെൻറ്റിൻ്റെ ചില ഘട്ടങ്ങളാണ് കൊടുത്തിരിക്കുന്നത്. ഈ ചിത്രങ്ങൾ നിരീക്ഷിച്ച് താഴെ കൊടുത്തിരിക്കുന്ന ചോദ്യങ്ങൾക്ക് ഉത്തരം എഴുതാനാണ് പറയുന്നത്. സോ വാട്ട് ഈസ് ദ ഫസ്റ്റ് സബ് ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻ? വാട്ട് ഈസ് എ ആൻഡ് ബി? ദിസ് ഈസ് ദ ഡയഗ്രാം ഓഫ് എയർ and this is the diagram of fertilization process. After fertilization, what will form? Zygote. This is the diagram of zygote in its two-celled stage, and this is the next stage of the development of embryo. Now we can call this stage as embryo stage ആയി കഴിഞ്ഞു. And this is the blastocyst stage of the development of human embryo. So here, immediately after fertilization, what will happen? The cells, that is the zygote, immediately after fertilization, the zygote will undergo division, mitotic division, isn't it? We can call that mitotic division as cleavage. As a result of the first cleavage, the zygote cell will divide into two equal halves. So we can call the newly formed cell as blastomeres. Actually, here A is indicating the diagram of blastomere. അപ്പോൾ ഇവിടെ എ എന്തിനെയാണ് സൂചിപ്പിക്കുന്നത്? ബ്ലാസ്റ്റോമിയർ. ഓക്കെ, ന്യൂലി ഫോംഡ് സെല്ലിനെ നമ്മൾ വിളിക്കുന്ന പേരാണ് ബ്ലാസ്റ്റോമിയർ. ആൻഡ് വോട്ട് ബി ഈസ് ഇൻഡിക്കേറ്റിംഗ് എ ഗ്രൂപ്പ് ഓഫ് സെൽ വിച്ച് ഈസ് ഫോംഡ് ആഫ്റ്റർ ദ ഡിവിഷൻ ഓഫ് ബ്ലാസ്റ്റോമിയേഴ്സ്. അതായത് ഇവിടെ ഫോം ചെയ്യുന്ന ബ്ലാസ്റ്റോമിയേഴ്സ് വിൽ അണ്ടർഗോ ഫർദർ ഡിവിഷൻ. ഓക്കെ, ഡ്യൂ ടു ദ കണ്ടിന്യൂസ് ഡിവിഷൻ ഓഫ് ദിസ് ഇനിഷ്യൽ സെൽസ്, എ ഗ്രൂപ്പ് ഓഫ് സെൽസ് വിൽ ഫോം. And we can call this group of cell as morula. നമ്മൾ ഈ ഗ്രൂപ്പ് ഓഫ് സെല്ലിനെ നമ്മൾ എന്ത് വിളിക്കാം? മോറുല എന്ന് വിളിക്കാം. ആൻഡ് ദിസ് സ്റ്റേജ് ഈസ് നോൺ ആസ് മോറുല സ്റ്റേജ്. ആക്ച്വലി ദ മെയിൻ ഫീച്ചർ ഓഫ് ദിസ് സ്റ്റേജ് ഈസ് ദിസ് മോറുല മേ കണ്ടെയ്ൻ 8 to 16 blastomeres in it. Actually, these cells of the morula will arrange itself into the form of an inner cell mass and an outer trophoblast layer. Okay. So this is inner cell mass. This is the trophoblast layer of the next embryonic stage, or we can call this embryonic stage as blastocyst stage. Next question, name the two types of cells found in the blastocyst. Which are the cells? As I mentioned earlier, the two types of cells are this one is this one, and the other one is the cells which can be seen in the envelope, isn't it? These cells are known as inner cell mass, and the cells which can be seen in the towards the periphery of the cell is known as trophoblast. Okay, so this is trophoblast and this is the inner cell mass. So two types of cells found in blastocyst. Which are the cells? Yes, inner cell mass and trophoblast cells. Next question, which layer of the blastocyst is attached to the endometrium, and name that process. This is the layer which is involving in the attachment of endometrium. That is, this is the layer which is responsible for attaching to innermost layer. Okay, and name that process. Can you name the process of attachment? What is that process? Implantation process. We can call that process as implantation. So what is the answer? Which layer of blastocyst is attached to endometrium? Trophoblast layer. This trophoblast layer will develop certain finger-like projections, and these finger-like projections are known as chorionic villi. Chorionic villi will make a strong connection with the uterine tissue, and thereby the fixation and thereby the implantation process will become more effective. And next question is, the diagram represents a process of gametogenesis. Closely observe it and answer the following. ഹിയർ ഗാമറ്റോജനിസിസിനെ പ്രതിനിധാനം ചെയ്യുന്ന ഒരു ചിത്രമാണ് കൊടുത്തിട്ടുള്ളത്. ആ ചിത്രത്തിനെ ബേസ് ചെയ്തുകൊണ്ട് സബ് ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻസിന് ആൻസർ കൊടുക്കാനാണ് പറഞ്ഞിട്ടുള്ളത്. The first sub question is it spermatogenesis or oogenesis? Whether this picture is spermatogenesis or oogenesis, this is the question. Okay, and the second question is, what does the smaller shaded circle represents? You can see a smaller shaded circle here, isn't it? This is a smaller shaded circle. So what does it indicate? You can see this. This is the smaller shaded circle. So what does the smaller shaded circle indicate? The third sub question is, write down two significance of the production of the same smaller shaded circle. That is, here what is the significance of the smaller shaded circle that we have to mention in this in the answer. So in the diagram of gametogenesis, if you can trace the presence of smaller circles, smaller shaded circles, yes, we can make sure that this figure is related to oogenesis. Why? Because here you can see smaller shaded circle, isn't it? It indicates that this process is what? Oogenesis. In short, you can find out the diagram of spermatogenesis and oogenesis by comparing the cells which is formed at the end of gametogenesis. Comparing the number of cells formed, we can make sure that whether it is spermatogenesis or oogenesis. In the second question, what was the second question? What does the smaller shaded circle represent? Here, if you can find out the presence of smaller shaded circle in the figure of gametogenesis, we can make sure that it is oogenesis. And in oogenesis, the smaller shaded circle indicate the presence of polar bodies. And these polar bodies are formed during meiotic division. That is, these polar bodies are formed due to the unequal division of the primary and the secondary oocyte. Okay. The third question is, write down the two significance of production of the same. Here, the same means write down the two significance of production of polar bodies. Okay. These polar bodies are formed due to the unequal cytoplasmic cleavage, and this unequal cytoplasmic cleavage will facilitate the entry of more cytoplasm into the oocyte than the polar body. Okay, അതായത് oocyteലേക്ക് കൂടുതൽ സൈറ്റോപ്ലാസത്തിനെ കോൺസെൻട്രേറ്റ് ചെയ്യാൻ വേണ്ടിയിട്ടാണ് ഈ അൺഈക്വൽ സൈറ്റോപ്ലാസ്മിക് ക്ലീവേജ് നടക്കുന്നത്. ആൻഡ് പോളാർ ബോഡി ഫോം ചെയ്യുന്നത് കൊണ്ട് അവിടെ എന്താ ബെനിഫിറ്റ് എന്ന് വെച്ച് കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ ovum will get more cytoplasm due to the divisionലൂടെ ഓവത്തിന് കൂടുതൽ സൈറ്റോപ്ലാസം കിട്ടും എന്നുള്ളതാണ്. So the next question is, the graph shows the level of ovarian hormones in the normally menstruating woman during follicular phase. That is, in the x-axis number of days of menstrual cycle is given, and in the y-axis the amount of hormone present in the blood is also given. That is, the level of hormone in the blood is also given. Just here, what is the peculiarity of this graph? This graph indicates the level of ovarian hormone in the normally menstruating woman during the follicular phase. So what is the peculiarity of the follicular phase? During follicular phase, the follicle will become mature and it will start to produce more hormone, estrogen hormone from it. So during the follicular phase, which hormone will be high in blood? Estrogen hormone will be high in blood. During the follicular phase, another hormone is also there in the blood. But what is the level of the hormone? It is constant from 1st to the 15th day of the menstrual cycle, isn't it? Which will be this hormone? It will be progesterone hormone. Why? Because this progesterone hormone will not show any change during the initial follicular phase. There will be the level, that is the level of progesterone hormone will be constant in the blood during the initial to final days of follicular phase. But after follicular phase, the level of these two hormone will increase, especially the level of progesterone hormone will increase for maintaining endometrium. Okay, so shall we move on to the second question? Mention the role of pituitary hormone in maintaining this condition. Actually, the high level of this estrogen is maintained with the help of the pituitary hormone FSH, that is follicle stimulating hormone. Actually, FSH from the anterior pituitary will stimulate the primary follicle to become mature follicle. If it is changing into the form of mature follicle, then only it is able to produce more estrogen from it. In short, we can say that FSH hormone have a direct role in the production of estrogen from the ovary. Okay, now let's move to the third sub question. Reconstruct the graph for luteal phase. So luteal phase is the phase which can be seen after the 14th day of menstruation. It is a period from the 15th day to the 20th day of the menstrual cycle. അതായത് 15th മുതൽ 20th ഡേ വരെയുള്ള സമയത്താണ് നമ്മൾ എന്ത് പറയുക, ലൂട്ടിയൽ ഫേസ് എന്ന് പറയാം. ഡ്യൂറിങ് ലൂട്ടിയൽ ഫേസ് സം ചേഞ്ചസ് വിൽ ഹാപ്പൻ ഇൻസൈഡ് ദ ഓവറി. അതായത് ഓവറിക്കുള്ളിൽ ദ ഗ്രാഫിയൻ ഫോളിക്കിൾ, റപ്ചേർഡ് ഗ്രാഫിയൻ ഫോളിക്കിൾ വിൽ ചേഞ്ച് ഇൻ ടു ദ ഫോം ഓഫ് മെച്ചർ കോർപ്പസ് ലൂട്ടിയം. That means it will change into the form of corpus luteum, and this corpus luteum will produce more hormone progesterone from it, so that immediately after ovulation, that means immediately after the 14th day, from 15th day onwards, the amount of progesterone hormone in the blood will gradually increase, and it will attain its peak during the middle of the luteal phase. Luteal phase in the middle ആകുമ്പോഴേക്കും the amount of progesterone will be maximum in the blood. If fertilization doesn't happen, what will happen? Corpus luteum will degenerate. As a result of that, the amount of progesterone hormone will gradually decrease in the blood. Okay, so here as you see in the figure, this is the reconstructed graph of luteal phase. That is, this is the graph of luteal phase. In this phase you can see immediately after the 14th day, the hormone progesterone level is increasing day by day, isn't it? It attain its peak level during the middle of the luteal phase. Luteal phase in the middle എത്തുമ്പോഴത്തേക്കും progesterone peak എത്തുകയാണ്. After that, if fertilization doesn't occur at that time, അതായത് മിഡിൽ എത്തിയിട്ടും ഫെർട്ടിലൈസേഷൻ ആയിട്ടില്ല എങ്കിൽ, നടന്നിട്ടില്ല എങ്കിൽ, corpus luteum degenerate ചെയ്യാൻ തുടങ്ങും. As a result of the degeneration of the corpus luteum, the progesterone level will decrease in the blood. അതായത് corpus luteum മെയിൻറ്റെയിൻ ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റാത്തത് കൊണ്ട് progesterone level കുറഞ്ഞു വരികയാണ്. Okay, so 18th 20th day ആകുമ്പോൾ the progesterone level will be very less in the blood. Here in the estrogen, you can see during the immediately after the rupturing of the Graafian follicle, there will be a decrease in the estrogen level. അതായത് നമ്മളവിടെ പറഞ്ഞു ഓവുലേഷൻ നടക്കുമ്പോൾ എന്താ നടക്കുക, ഓവുലേഷൻ്റെ സമയത്ത് എന്താ നടക്കുക, the Graafian follicle will rupture, ഡിസിൻറ്റഗ്രേറ്റ് ചെയ്യുകയാണ് ചെയ്യുന്നത്. സോ ഗ്രാഫിയൻ ഫോളിക്കിൾ ഡിസിൻറ്റഗ്രേറ്റ് ചെയ്ത് കഴിഞ്ഞ് കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ ഈസ്ട്രോജൻ പ്രൊഡ്യൂസ് ചെയ്യാൻ പിന്നെ അവിടെ വേറെ ഒന്നും ഉണ്ടാവില്ല. അതുകൊണ്ട് തന്നെ ദ ലെവൽ ഓഫ് ഈസ്ട്രോജൻ ഹോർമോൺ വിൽ ഡിക്രീസ് ഇമ്മീഡിയറ്റ്ലി ആഫ്റ്റർ ദ 15th day of the menstrual cycle. ദെൻ അടുത്തുള്ള പിന്നെ വരുന്ന തൊട്ടുപുറകിൽ വരുന്ന ഫോളിക്കിൾസ്, അതായത് പിന്നെയുള്ള ഫോളിക്കിൾസ് മെച്ചർ ആവാൻ തുടങ്ങുമ്പോൾ ഈസ്ട്രോജൻ്റെ ലെവൽ പതിയെ ബ്ലഡിൽ കൂടി വരും. ഓക്കെ, അതായത് ഓവുലേഷൻ കഴിഞ്ഞ് കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ ഉറപ്പായിട്ടും ദർ വിൽ ബി എ സഡൻ ഡിക്രീസ് ഇൻ ദ ഈസ്ട്രോജൻ ലെവൽ. ബൈ ബിക്കോസ് അവിടെ ഈസ്ട്രോജൻ പ്രൊഡ്യൂസ് ചെയ്യാൻ വേണ്ടിയിട്ടുള്ള മെച്ചേർഡ് ഫോളിക്കിൾ ഉണ്ടാവില്ല. ഓവറിയിൽ പിന്നെ അവശേഷിക്കുന്ന ഫോളിക്കിൾ മെച്ചറായാൽ മാത്രമേ ഈസ്ട്രോജൻ പ്രൊഡക്ഷൻ നടക്കുള്ളൂ. അതായത് എപ്പോഴാണോ ബാക്കിയുള്ള ഫോളിക്കിൾസ് മെച്ചർ ആവാൻ തുടങ്ങുന്നത് അപ്പോൾ മുതൽ ഈസ്ട്രോജൻ്റെ അളവ് പതിയെ കൂടി വരും. Now can we move on to the next question? Here question is, observe the diagram provided and answer the questions. Here this is the diagram, that is this is the diagram of cross section of seminiferous tubule, and here you can see the wall of the seminiferous tubule here. Okay, and some other cells can also be found associated with the wall of the seminiferous tubule. Now let's go to the sub questions of the main part. The first sub-question is label A, B, C, D and E. And the second sub-question is what is the function of C? So now let's move to the first sub-question of this question. Label A, B, C, D and E. Okay. Which is the A part? You can see it here, isn't it? This is the A part. As you see here, A is the diagram of what? Sperm, isn't it? നിങ്ങൾ ഇവിടെ കാണുന്ന പോലെ തന്നെയാണ് A എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് എന്തിനെ സൂചിപ്പിക്കുകയാണ്? സ്പെർമിനെ സൂചിപ്പിക്കുന്നതാണ്. Okay, സ്പെർമിനെ സൂചിപ്പിക്കുന്ന ഡയഗ്രാമാണ്. Which is the B part? ഏതാ B part? This is the B part, isn't it? ഇത് അതായത് സ്പേം ഫോം ചെയ്യുന്ന മെയിൽ ജേം സെൽ ഏതാണോ അതാണ് ബി. ഓക്കെ, മെയിൽ ജേം സെല്ലിൻ്റെ പേരെന്താ? യെസ്, സ്പെർമറ്റഗോണിയ. സോ ദിസ് ഈസ് ദ ഫിഗർ ഓഫ് വാട്ട്? സ്പെർമറ്റഗോണിയ. അതായത് ഈ സെല്ലിന് ഡിഫറൻസിയേഷൻ സംഭവിച്ചിട്ടാണ്, സ്പെർമറ്റഗോണിയം സെല്ലിന് ഡിഫറൻസിയേഷൻ സംഭവിച്ചിട്ടാണ് സ്പേം ഫോം ചെയ്യുന്നത്. സോ ദിസ് ഈസ് ദ ഫിഗർ ഓഫ് ഓർ ദിസ് ഈസ് ദ ഡയഗ്രാം ഓഫ് സ്പെർമറ്റഗോണിയം. ഓക്കെ, ഇനിഷ്യൽ സ്പെർമറ്റഗോണിയം ഓർ മെയിൽ ജേം സെൽസ്. And next one is C, isn't it? Identify C. Where is C? This is the C. This is the cell. So these are smaller sized cells. Do you see that? When compared to the other cell, it is very smaller and it is almost spherical in shape also, isn't it? These cells are known as Sertoli cells. Actually, these are Sertoli cells. This can be seen in between the primary and the secondary spermatocytes. And what is the function of this Sertoli cell? It will provide nourishment for the growing germ cells. Growing germ cellsന് നറിഷ്മെൻറ്റ് കൊടുക്കുന്ന സെല്ലിനെയാണ് നമ്മൾ സെർട്ടോളി സെൽസ് എന്ന് പറയുന്നത്. ദിസ് ഈസ് ദ സെർട്ടോളി സെൽസ്. സോ ബാക്കിയുള്ള ഭാഗത്തെ കമ്പയർ ചെയ്ത് വി ക്യാൻ ഐഡൻറ്റിഫൈ സെർട്ടോളി സെൽസ് ഈസിലി ബിക്കോസ് ഇറ്റ് ഈസ് സ്മോളർ ഇൻ സൈസ്. നോട്ട് ഓൺലി ദാറ്റ്, it can be seen in between the primary and secondary oocyte, isn't it? And next question is which is the D part? Which is the D part? This is the D part, isn't it? D. Here this is the spermatogonium. അല്ലേ, ഞാൻ ഇവിടെ ആദ്യം പറഞ്ഞു ഇത് സ്പെർമറ്റഗോണിയം ആണെന്ന്. അപ്പോൾ സ്പെർമറ്റഗോണിയത്തിൽ നിന്ന് ഫോം ചെയ്യുന്നത് എന്തായിരിക്കും? പ്രൈമറി സ്പെർമാറ്റോസൈറ്റ്സ് അല്ലേ, ഇസ്ൻ്റ് ഇറ്റ്? അങ്ങനെയാണെങ്കിൽ ഈ ഡി എന്തായിരിക്കും? യെസ്, ഇറ്റ് ഈസ് പ്രൈമറി സ്പെർമാറ്റോസൈറ്റ്സ്. ഓക്കെ, സ്പെർമറ്റഗോണിയത്തിൽ നിന്ന് ഫോം ചെയ്യുന്നത് എന്താണ്? പ്രൈമറി സ്പെർമാറ്റോസൈറ്റ് ആണ്. അപ്പോൾ ഇതെന്തായിരിക്കും? പ്രൈമറി സ്പെർമാറ്റോസൈറ്റ്. ദാറ്റ് ഈസ് ഡി റെപ്രസെൻറ്റ്സ് ദ പ്രൈമറി സ്പെർമാറ്റോസൈറ്റ്. ആൻഡ് നെക്സ്റ്റ് വൺ ഈസ് E, isn't it? E, which is the E? This one. Okay, oogonia form ചെയ്യും. oogonia നിന്ന് പ്രൈമറി സ്പെർമാറ്റോസൈറ്റ് ഫോം ചെയ്യും. പ്രൈമറി സ്പെർമാറ്റോസൈറ്റ് ഫോം ചെയ്ത ശേഷം പിന്നെ ഫോം ചെയ്യുന്നത് എന്താണ്? യെസ്, വാട്ട് ഈസ് ദാറ്റ്? സെക്കൻഡറി സ്പെർമാറ്റോസൈറ്റ്. ഇവിടെ സ്പേം എന്തിൽ നിന്നാണ് ശരിക്കും ഫോം ചെയ്യുന്നത്? സെക്കൻഡറി സ്പെർമാറ്റോസൈറ്റിൻ്റെ ഡിവിഷൻ വഴിയാണ് സ്പെർമാറ്റിഡ് ഫോം ചെയ്യുന്നത് അല്ലേ. അപ്പോൾ E indicate the secondary spermatocyte. Now can we move to the second sub question? What is the function of C? Which is C? This one is the, yes, this one is the C. I told you what we can call this cell as Sertoli cell, isn't it? What is the function of Sertoli cell? It will provide nourishment for the growing germ cells. That is, this is the germ cells and it will provide nourishment for these cells which is surrounding the Sertoli cells. Now let's move to another question. Here the question is the graph shown below shows the level of LH and FSH at various stages of menstrual cycle. You can see this here, isn't it? This graph indicates the level of LH and FSH in the various stages of menstrual cycle. That is, here x-axis mention the number of days and y-axis mention the level of LH and FSH hormone. That is, the amount of LH and FSH hormone available in the blood. Here the first sub question is name the source of LH and FSH. Actually, who is responsible for the production of LH and FSH? Is pituitary gland, isn't it? Pituitary gland, especially anterior pituitary is responsible for the production of FSH as well as LH. What is the expansion of LH? Luteinizing hormone. And the expansion of FSH is follicle stimulating hormone. Now, second sub question is the level of LH is maximum during the middle day of the cycle. Mention its effect. As I told you earlier, the level of LH hormone will be maximum during the middle of the cycle. You can see total length of the cycle is 28 days, isn't it? When it reaches to the during the 14th day of the cycle, the level of LH hormone is very high in the blood. If the level of LH hormone is high in the blood, what will happen? The LH can increase the collagenous activity of the follicular cells and the follicular cell will become weaker inside the ovary. So as a result of that is, it will facilitate the rupturing of the follicle and the ova can be released from ovary. Isn't it? So what is the effect of LH? LH can cause release of ova from ovary. That is, LH can cause ovulation from the ovary. LH has one more effect, that is it will facilitate the conversion of Graafian follicle into corpus luteum. That is, if the amount of LH hormone is high, then the Graafian follicle, ruptured Graafian follicle will change into the form of corpus luteum and this corpus luteum will produce more progesterone from it. The sub-question C is, note the function of LH in males. What is the function of LH in males? As I told you earlier, LH will act on Leydig cell of male and thereby it stimulates the production of male sex hormone androgen. Okay. Let's go through the next question. Here, the process of formation of male gamete is called spermatogenesis. First sub-question, name a hormone involved in the regulation of spermatogenesis. And B question, what is spermiogenesis? So here what is the question? Name a hormone involved in the regulation of spermatogenesis. Which hormone is involved in the regulation of spermatogenesis? Which is a hormone? Yes, androgens. Who is responsible for the production of androgen? Leydig cells, which can be seen in the interstitial space, is responsible for the production of androgens or male sex hormones. What is spermiogenesis? What is spermiogenesis? Spermiogenesis is the process of formation of sperm from a spermatid. Actually, spermiogenesis is the one of the developmental stage of the sperm. Spermatogenesis involves in one stage spermiogenesis, or spermiogenesis is the last step of spermatogenesis. That is the phase during which the spermatid will change into the form of a mature sperm. What is meant by spermiation? Spermiation is the process of release of sperm from the seminiferous tubule. So after the spermiogenesis, the sperm will be there inside the seminiferous tubule, isn't it? The sperm will be released through a process called spermiation. Okay, spermiation, or we can call this process, we can define this process as the release of sperm from the seminiferous tubule. Okay, next question. The following statements compares the process of oogenesis and spermatogenesis. Which one is not true? First statement is, production of ovum ceases at certain age, but sperm production continues even in old man. Statement B is, oogenesis begins in the embryonic stages, but spermatogenesis starts at the onset of puberty. The third statement is, meiotic arrest occurs both in oogenesis and spermatogenesis. Fourth statement is, polar body are formed in oogenesis. So I told you about I read 4 statements regarding the process of oogenesis and the spermatogenesis, isn't it? Among this, one is no true. You have to find out which one is the incorrect statement among these. First, which was the first statement? Production of ovum ceases at certain age, but sperm production continues even in old man. Is it a correct statement? Yes, it is a correct statement. Oogenesis will start during the embryonic period itself. That is, all the oogonia which is necessary for the formation of ova is formed during the embryonic period itself. And this oogenesis will stop when the female attains the age of 45 to 50. Isn't it? Oogenesis will start when the child is in the embryonic stage itself. That is, when the child is inside the mother's womb, at that time itself, the oogenesis will start inside the fetal ovary. In males, spermatogenesis will start when they attain puberty. And in the case of male, this spermatogenesis will continue throughout their lifespan. That means if a man is in the age of 80, that time also he is capable of producing sperm. But this is not possible in the case of females. Females can produce their ova during their active reproductive age. That is, this production of ova will take place efficiently during the period from puberty till 45 to 50 years. That means the overproduction will begin when she is in the age of 13 to 15, and the first production, the first menstrual cycle is known as menarche, and the last menstrual cycle of the female is known as menopause. About this statement, the first statement which is given in the textbook is correct. Now can we move to the second statement? Oogenesis begins in the embryonic stages, but spermatogenesis starts at the onset of puberty. It is also correct. Oogenesis begins in the, as I told you now, oogenesis begins in the embryonic stage itself, but spermatogenesis starts at the onset of puberty. That's correct statement. Okay. And the third statement is meiotic arrest occurs both in oogenesis and spermatogenesis. Is it a correct statement? No, it is not correct. Why? Because meiotic arrest will take place in oogenesis only. We can't see this kind of meiotic arrest in the case of males. Males spermatogenesis meiotic arrest is stage. In male, the spermatogenesis is a continuous process. There won't be any meiotic arrest stage, or there won't be any arrested stage in the development of sperm. But in the case of females, when the oogonia enter the prophase of first meiotic division, it gets arrested in that stage. That we can call that stage as primary oocyte stage. But even if it is in the arrested stage, the primary oocyte will undergo some maturation process, but it won't complete its division during that time. It will not undergo the further division, further changes. Its primary oocyte will change its structure, but it will not undergo maturation division during the arrested stage. And this maturation division starts only when the female attains puberty. Okay. And the last statement is polar bodies are formed in oogenesis. It is correct statement. During the time of oogenesis, the polar bodies will form. Okay. So which one is the incorrect statement? Yes, third one is the incorrect statement. That is, meiotic arrest occurs both in oogenesis and spermatogenesis. Shall we move on to next question? Okay. When the urine sample of a lady is tested, presence of human chorionic gonadotropin is detected. What does the presence of HCG indicate? Which is the source of HCG? What is HCG? Human chorionic gonadotropin. So here, what was the first question? What does the presence of HCG indicate? If HCG is there in the urine of a lady, we can say that the lady is pregnant. Why? Because the HCG is produced from the placenta only. Placenta is HCG produced, and placenta can be seen only during the time of embryonic development, isn't it? That is, the placenta is formed during the embryonic development. When the female is in the pregnant condition, when the female is pregnant, at that time only the placenta will form, and we can see this HCG hormone in their blood during the time of pregnancy only. So we can say that, so if HCG is there in the urine of a female, we can say that that female is pregnant. Why? Because HCG can be produced from placenta only, and this placenta will form during the time of pregnancy only. Okay. Which is a source of HCG? Which is a source of HCG? Yes, placenta is the source of HCG. Next question is, in our society, the women are often blamed for giving birth to daughters. Can you explain why this is not correct? In our society, often the females are blamed by the family members for giving birth to a girl child. Actually, this is based on the false belief that females are responsible for determining the sex of the future child. Actually, it is not like that. The sex of a child is determined by the male parent. That is, The sex of a child is determined at the time of fertilization by the male parent. Males are capable of producing two types of gametes. That means males are capable of producing two types of sperms. Sperms containing X chromosome and sperms containing Y chromosome. In the case of females, all the ova produced from the females may contain X chromosome in it. Males are capable of producing two types of sperms. That is sperms containing X chromosome and the sperm containing Y chromosome. Actually, these X and Y chromosome are considered as the sex chromosome, and these chromosomes are responsible for determining the sex of the child. Here, female, all the ova which is produced from the female may contain only X chromosome in it. That is Y sex chromosome we can't see in any ova. Or Y sex chromosome if the ova is fertilized by the sperm containing X chromosome, then the individual will be XX, that is the individual will be a girl, and the child, that is the child will be a girl. If the ova is fertilized by the sperm containing Y chromosome, then the individual will be XY, or we can say that it will be a boy child. Okay, that is, in short, we can say that males are capable of producing two types of gametes, and the chromosome which is present in the sperm during the time of fertilization is responsible for determining the sex of the future child. അതായത് നമ്മുടെ ഫെർട്ടിലൈസേഷന് സമയത്ത് സ്പെർമിൽ ഉണ്ടായിരിക്കുന്ന സെക്സ് ക്രോമസോം ഏതാണോ അതിനെ ബേസ് ചെയ്തിട്ടായിരിക്കും കുഞ്ഞാണോ പെണ്ണാണോ നമുക്ക് ഡിസൈഡ് ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റുക. ഓക്കെ, understood children? So here sex of a child is determined by the male parent only. ശരിക്കും മെയിൽ പാരന്റ് ആണ് എന്തിന് കാരണം സെക്സിന്റെ കുഞ്ഞിന്റെ സെക്സ് ഡിറ്റർമിൻ ചെയ്യാനുള്ള കാരണം. ഓക്കെ, അതായത് ഫെർട്ടിലൈസേഷൻ്റെ സമയത്ത് സ്പെർമിലുള്ള സെക്സ് ക്രോമസോം ഏതാണ് എന്നതിനെ ആശ്രയിച്ചിരിക്കും വരാൻ പോകുന്ന കുഞ്ഞിൻ്റെ സെക്സ്. ഓക്കെ, അണ്ടർസ്റ്റുഡ്? സോ ക്യാൻ വി ബ്ലെയിം ഫീമെയിൽസ് ഫോർ ഗിവിംഗ് ബർത്ത് ടു എ ഗേൾ ചൈൽഡ്? നോ, isn't it? It is completely based on the type of sex chromosome which is present in the sperm. Spermiലുള്ള സെക്സ് ക്രോമസോം ഏത് എന്നതിനെ ഡിപ്പെൻഡ് ചെയ്തിട്ടായിരിക്കും സെക്സ് ഡിറ്റർമിൻ ചെയ്യുന്നത്. So today we have discussed some of the important questions from the first chapter, human reproduction. I hope you might have understood all the questions well. These kind of questions you can expect for board examination. So when you will study the topic, you give more importance for such kind of questions. Now I am going to wind up the class. If you have any doubt, please contact me. I'll be here in